Hey everybody, it's Tasty Santa here, and today we're going to be doing a Marvel Rivals replay review. This is going to be for a Silver 3 Cloak and Dagger. We'll take a little look at their gameplay, point out some of the things that they can improve on, some of the things they might be doing wrong, and comparing a lot of the things that we learn in that part of the video to when we're reviewing my own gameplay on Cloak and Dagger up in Diamond 1 GM3. So hopefully we can learn a couple of things today. You can take these into your next Rivals rank game and see if you can climb up that ladder. If you do happen to learn something or like what you see, make sure to drop a like, comment, or subscribe. Let's get into the video. Thanks, guys. This is a new person. They've not played the game for very long. It's Jaxophine, or Jaxon V. So we'll check him out in this one. Looks like he was playing Cloak and Dagger, 10-5-16. 3 final hits. He's got the most healing in the lobby. A lot of damage blocked, and a little bit of damage. So we can check out what he's doing.
Pick your hero or villain. I'm not judging.
Skip forward a little bit.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready. The battle starts in 5.
So I think straight away with this, we can see on his team he's got 1, 2, 3, 4 healers. So there's definitely room for another tank or for another DPS to come out here. I know a lot of people at low ranks. What rank even is this currently, actually? Let's check that before we get into it too deep. We have a console player, Silver 3. So this game is likely Silver or Bronze. So we'll just hop back in.
Pick your hero or villain.
So yeah, straight away, you know, you've got to think about your lineup on your team. If we look at the enemy's team, we've got 2 healers, 4 DPS, but you could call Wolverine and Mr. Fantastic off tanks in a way, with the amount of damage that they can take and effectively off-put pressure from the rest of their team. But yeah, straight away, one of the tips I would give you, Jaxo, is to look at your team lineup and have 1 or 2 heroes from each section, so tank, DPS, heals, or strategists in Marvel Rivals, and make sure that you are comfortable on some of them. So we're standing right out in the open where the Mantis can fire at our head. So this position here, it might feel like it's good because you're avoiding the main fight, but Mantis is just free firing at us. We could die here if we're not very lucky. So we want to get down to the low ground and use this middle part of the map to block her line of sight and just gain a bit of an advantage there. It's a nice use of the bubble. Probably didn't need to pop out the E. And it's surprising that the Mantis has just abandoned you. So your positioning has worked out for yourself. Some great heals coming out there. Focusing on who's low, you can see Jeff getting gun on there, you swap over. I don't like the fact that we are just stood still there the whole time, so if the Hela decides to look at us... There's not even a Hela. Who's this here? Scarlet Witch, looking like a Hela from distance. Yeah, anyone with any long range, for example the Mantis, could just take us out there. And we're just firing our bullets. So, again, you want to make sure that you're ready for the enemy team to attack. Yes, you've just killed most of them, but you sat there on 6 bullets. You could easily reload where you've got no pressure, making sure that you're ready for the next fight. And I feel like we're just firing in without much care. We get a nice pick there. You can already feel as well that the sensitivity that you're playing with is quite low. So for Cloak and Dagger, she doesn't really have to aim very much, so you probably want to put up that sensitivity so you can turn around, you can see where that Wolverine went, you can pay a little bit more attention to the rest of your team, and just kind of stay in control of your vision. Yeah, so we know there's people coming up from above. We're not in a great position here. And we're just firing in, not really focusing who we're putting our healing on. We're just firing into a crowd. So you want to think actively a bit more about who you're healing. So you know your team just got low there. If we just rewind that. Not low, but you watched all three of your team get pushed to the right. So the best angle would be to step here to the left, throw out a couple of heals. But instead you kind of pop out to be the front line. Again, they could take you out here with a bit of a pick. And they are trickling in a little bit here with the Mr. Fantastic. So again, we're just firing randomly forward. We're not putting much focus on who we're trying to heal. You can see that your Thor over here is quite low. He's below 50% health. Yes, Jeff's popping on him, but a few steps to the right, you could save him. It looks like our Mantis is probably going to ult here. Yeah, so she pops her ult to save. This is where you can swap over, which you haven't done once yet, over to Cloak, while you're in Mantis ult to put out some damage. If you notice as well, you can see the Scarlet Witch coming in here. So another thing we can do on Cloak is swap over, and we can use our, I believe on console, it's more than likely your L2 to protect your team from that explosion. Two healer ults coming out from your team here, but you pop that one to save yourself, because again, you're not swapping over to Dagger to make use of, sorry, to Cloak to make use of his abilities. Again, if we just watch that again, how much attention are you paying to the rest of your team? So you know you've got a Lunar ult, the Lunar ult's just finished. Do you know where your team is here? Or do you just happen to find them when you move over? You always want to make sure you know where your team are. Again, I feel like we're in a little bit of a panic here, dropping down. You can use your Cloak ult. Sorry, your Cloak L2 to cover yourself, to move up. You can use it to elevate yourself up into the air instead of walking over here and getting blocked by some walls. Alright, so I hope everyone noticed what happened there, because I don't think you did, Jaxo. So, who can spot the Wolverine? So he's just jumped past you, he's going for someone on your back line. The good news is he has gone for a Jeff, but he's picked up a Mantis, and the Mantis was quick enough to put the sleep out. But if we go back to you, Jaxo, what are you doing during that time where you could turn around and protect your Mantis? You're trying to kill a Mr. Fantastic in his buff form, in his no damage form. Unfortunately, your Mantis is able to take out the Jeff. To take out the Wolverine. God, I'm all over the place here. So yeah, hop into the next round. So you won the first round. If we look at the ults, you've got your Thor ult available, you've got no support ults, and they've got their... Again, no ults on the enemy team, so you're pretty level here. Just fast forward a little bit.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
So Cloak has a really long range on her heals, so I tend to sit at the back quite a lot when I play Cloak. Just throw out what I can to who I need to. So it's a really nice healing wall there, but we haven't popped down the bubble. There we go, we got the bubble, but you can see that your Jeff is low. Again, if we just rewind that. Yes, Jeff's a healer, but what if he gets picked by somebody firing through? What if he gets a little dink on him and he dies? So you've got to be paying attention to who's low, not just your tank, not just pumping your heals into the tank. So again, the Hulk's gone to your right here, which I don't think you noticed, on your Luna and your Jeff. And the Mantis is popping her ult as well. If we have a little look at the Jeff, we can see he is under some pressure. And Luna's protecting him. So you're very lucky to have 4 heals on the team here, otherwise you could have lost a few allies. It looks like you don't even realise the Hulk is there until he punches you or walks into you. Really nice use of the bubble. But again, we still haven't swapped over to Cloak. We're not putting out our wall. We're not using any of our Cloak abilities. So where are we going here? Like, where are the rest of your team? Where is anyone you're healing? We're not gaining anything by walking in there. We could throw our ulti down into the Su ult. So we can see that our Thor is in. He's not low health, but they have a Su ult up. So they're in an advantage when fighting within this here. Your Luna nearly has her ulti. Where is the Luna? So she's up above watching. But this is where you can take the initiative, Jaxo, and Cloak and Dagger ulti into that Su ult and throw out a little bit of aggression with your Cloak. Because when you're standing in your Cloak and Dagger ulti, it's really difficult for the enemy team to put some real damage into you and take you out, and you can put a lot of pressure onto the enemy. Instead, we have a little bit of a walk around. We get a little bit lost. Our Jeff is dead, and our Thor dies as well. So we're sat on 2 healer ultis, and we've lost a healer and a tank by not popping it. At this point, it looks like you're just way too far forward on Cloak and Dagger here. You need to be behind your Namor. We finally swap over to Cloak, but it's at the wrong time. Luna's saving you with her ulti. Again, we're putting out all this damage onto the Hulk. We've got Scarlet Witch on us. We've got Invisible Woman on us. We've not used our R1 to put out some extra damage. And we've not used our L2 to try and get away from this aggression. So I'm wondering here if we're going to panic ulti to try and stay alive, or if we're going to use our Cloak to escape. Instead, we swap over to Dagger and we walk into the Lunar ulti, which is great. But we're just getting beaten up by the Thor, by the Hulk, while the Scarlet Witch is going above us. So in order to survive here, again, we've got our L2 that we can use to put some healing on the ground versus this Hulk. And we've got our L1 where we can then use our L2 in order to dodge the Scarlet Witch ulti. And you can actually cloak your teammates if you time it well enough in order to save everyone. And this is where the rest of your team dies. And you're still holding on to your ulti while their team's used all of theirs. So they've got an ult advantage on you by using so many and taking the point. And I imagine the way that this game is going to go now, because it's not a win, is we probably don't get the point back after they've taken it from us. So again, we're the furthest forward here on Cloak and Dagger, and the rest of our team is behind us. She has some of the longest range healing in the game and some of the lowest damage when she's Dagger. So we don't want to be in this position. The Hulk could jump up to us, the Invisible Woman could suck us in, and we're just in a bit of a not great position to take advantage of what Cloak and Dagger can offer. The only time that I would agree with being in that position as Cloak and Dagger, if we just go back, is if right here you're going to drop an ulti to put some aggression down for your team to just run in and try and go all over them. This is where, as I'm talking about earlier, when you're using the Cloak and Dagger ulti, is you could throw one beam down here, another beam here, and you can focus your lines, your healing, your damage over here, and you can try and put some damage into their 4 healers, which they've now decided to swap to and have 4. So we've got a 4v4 healer kind of fight here. You don't tend to see 4 healers up in the higher meta, so it's interesting to see that all the way down here in silver. But yeah, that's probably one reason that you would be up on this ledge trying to get some advantage or some vision. Got behind our tank, which is great. You can see how much damage the Thor's taking. We managed to put out our bubble. It looks like our bubble does miss him, but the wall manages to keep him up. So let's just review when you use that ulti. So Hulk is pretty much full health, Jeff's full health, Luna's full health. Jeff's about to pop his ult, and you guys have 2 kills on a healer and a DPS. There isn't a massive need for this ulti to be popped out here. You've already gained quite a big advantage from the fight. Jeff has picked up 2 of their healers and killed them, so your ulti doesn't give you a lot here. You've not really used it to save anybody, you've not used it to put any aggression on their backline, so it's a bit of a wasted ult, unfortunately.
Yes! One down!
And look where your team is. So you want to be near your team. There's some healing you're putting out on this Mantis here, this Cloak, and the Thor. And you've not spotted the Scarlet Witch coming above you. Yeah, we're too far forward now. We've not repositioned with the rest of our team. We're not paying attention to the enemies around us. We're just heal botting and throwing out right clicks or R2s. Nice, you managed to keep Jeff and Neymar alive there. And again, we're not using any of our cloak abilities to reposition. Just sat here taking damage from the Scarlet Witch. And I think the rest of your team is just going to wipe here. Yeah. So I was wrong, you did manage to get the point back. You were close to getting this game at the last moment. But then, if we just go back to the start of that fight, for the rewinds. So at this point, you don't have your ulti, because unfortunately we misused it in the last fight. We got a Thor ult, 1 support ult, and 1 damage. They've popped a healer ult, they've got another healer ult as well. So they have an advantage here in the fight, where we just want to back away. We know the Mantis is ultied, we're fighting in a Su ult, so we're not going to kill anyone. What position can we get into here in order to survive? We can cloak up onto the high ground, because we know they don't have a lot of hit scan or long range heroes to take you out, so you can gain a real advantage by just being up here, out of the fight, out of the fray, because as you can see, the Scarlet Witch, she spots you and as soon as she sees you, just make sure that you die. Unfortunately, they've just used their ultis a lot better than you guys have here, which is why they managed to take the point.
Control lost!
It's great that you're waiting for your team, but you don't need to wait for them in the spawn. You can come out a little bit. The Silvers aren't going to be too aggressive to push up and touch the spawn door. So what are we doing here? Where are we shooting? What are we looking at? I just feel like we're shooting into the wind. We're not really paying too much attention to who we're using our bullets on. Where are the enemies? Where are my tanks? Where are the... Okay, let's watch that again. Where's your Thor here? Where's your tank? Where's the person you probably need to be keeping alive the most? So we spot him there on the right. We can see he's in a fight. And because we're popping some little heals on Luna, who's under no threat currently, on top of this hill, we lose our Thor with all of our healing abilities on cooldown. So we just want to make sure we've got the right target acquisition. So again, we're in a Luna ulti here. We've ran away from it. We're getting beaten up by the Thor. We're not using our healing bubble to stay alive. We're not using our cloak to try and do some more damage to him. We're just spamming our heals out. And again, the Hulk's decided to leave you alone. And he goes after the Luna. And you just kind of abandon her a little bit here. So you decide to heal a 80% health. Oops. Decide to heal an 80% health Mantis. And your Luna over here has just died on her own because you abandoned her, unfortunately. Your ulti could have been useful there to keep the team alive. I would like to see an ult come out about now. We're at 99% on the enemy team. And I think we're going to die with our ulti. Now if we look, the enemy Cloak has used their ult in this fight. that's going to be the advantage that your team just doesn't have. They're getting heals, they're getting damage, and the Mantis just isn't able to keep up. Luna's jumped in to try and save the fight, to do her best. Thor's going in as well. He's got 2. Now imagine if you were still alive here, because you used your ulti. I think there's a possibility you really could have won the match here. Okay. So we're at 1-1 now. Team's probably not feeling great. And your Thor is doing a lot for you guys. He's got 10 of your final hits. So we want to make sure we're keeping an eye on that. Who are our key targets to keep alive? And I would say the Thor acing on your team is someone you want to put a bit of your focus into. Yes, you've got 4 healers. And if you're not comfortable going forward on the cloak and putting out some damage, you want to make sure that your healing's going to the right place, Jaxo.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
Yeah. I think what I might do after this game is watch one of my Cloak and Dagger games and just kind of compare some of the different things that we do. Okay, so we know that they've thrown out a Sue ult here. Again, your Mantis has ulted. You are in no man's land here. You're not putting out any healing, any damage. Your Mantis ult's finished, and this is where you could get an advantage by putting your ult on the point here. It looks like your team's managed to group up. Sensitivity is definitely letting you down, and we're just not paying attention to our health bar going down. So if we watch that again, we have our ulti, we have our bubble, we have our cloak swap, we're just stood in the middle. We've taken 2 hits from Mantis, we haven't hurt them, we haven't spotted the red bar, and we haven't spotted our health go down until the point where she just kind of takes us out for free. So if we watch that from Mantis's perspective, no pressure for her, she just takes out one of the healers, puts some heals into her team, and just keeps doing some more damage. Again, your ulti there could have given you that aggression your team needed to win that fight, to get the enemy back and to get those percentages. We've been sat on this ult for quite a while now, and we still haven't managed to use it. Okay. So again, we're just standing still. We're out in the open. We're leaving ourselves to be sniped. Their cloaks are going to come in. We need to put our healing bubble down. We need to use our abilities here, Jaxo. So we're stood in the Luna roll. So this is where we can swap over to cloak. We don't need to be healing anyone. Nice, a nice little swap to cloak, but we're going for the Hulk. Do we know how much damage the Hulk how much health the Hulk has? 800. You're not going to be killing that Hulk. You're not going to be doing enough significant damage for you to be able to take him out there, Jaxo. And the Sue knows this too. Look at this Sue running straight towards you. So we're in a Mantis ult. We've swapped back to heals. We're still sitting on our ulti. This would be a great time to throw it. There we go. Wonderful. And we're just going to cover the point. See our sensitivities stopping us from turning easily. And this is where we swap to damage. We swap to the cloak and we put out some damage. Alright, we're on top of an enemy cloak and dagger ulti here, so probably want to get back. Drop a little healing bubble for your teammates. That Luna was following us for a while, wanting some heals. It's nice that we managed to get her some. But this is where the fight's looking over. We need to be getting out of here now. Yeah. So our tank is dead. I think our DPS died a little bit earlier. And we've also got our one of our healers who's changed to DPS, who's died. So we can realise from this part here that this fight is over and we're about to get swarmed now as the back line. And it's exactly what happens. It's where we should start running out. Sometimes you do just have to abandon your teammates so you can stay alive, so you can do more heals. The Jeff is kind of trying to contest the point, which isn't doing him much advantage, but you can see that he did abandon you, and he's still alive because of it. Okay. So we know our Thor's low. Can we get a healing bubble down on him here to support him? Very nice. We've got our healing wall out as well. Yep, keep that heals. Very nice, we've kept up. We can spot Luna's low. Nice, very nice. We're putting some focus. So we're focusing our heals here. Alright, so this is where we swap to Cloak. Or... oh, so it was actually a win. I didn't even realise. Well done, Jaxo. It was a great win there. I think it was the fight at the end. We have a little look. Our Thor definitely helped do a lot of damage there. If we just bring it up and pop back. So our Thor popping out with the 13, and then I believe it's our Mantis with the 14. So our Mantis was playing a bit of a DPS, but she still put out a lot of heals. And then we've got yourself down there, and the rest of the healers. So I think overall, like the feedback that I can see is we're just not thinking about who we're healing. We're just kind of throwing some heals out, which is great if you're getting them in the right area. Sometimes you do just fire them into the right area. So if we just hop into my history and we find a Cloak and Dagger game. Yeah, so we've got one here. So we have a little look at the differences. Just some of the positioning. Some of the ways that we're firing in, we're using our abilities. So I've got the little heal there because I couldn't see the group. I can see that the Psylocke's dropped low. Now unfortunately, my decision to back off there and go for the Psylocke instead is likely what causes the group to die alongside his own positioning. But the reason I back up slightly is because the Psylocke's dropped down low, so sometimes that can mean that someone is coming up from above. We've dropped our healing bubble for the team to walk back into, and here's the magic coming on the back line. Unfortunately, a reload causes the Loki to die there. And we're just getting a little bit ran down. You can see me backing up. I'm using the ambulance as cover. I know that this fight is lost, so I shouldn't be at the front. I'm doing what I can. This magic takes me out too. One thing I could have done there, if we just rewatch my death, is I could swap over to Cloak and try and fly out. But you can see that I look at the floor, I try and put my bubble down, but it's on cooldown. And then our Strange just happens to walk away afterwards. But the fight isn't over. We still haven't lost the point. You can see I'm not poking myself around the corner, I'm staying out of vision, dropping heals into my two tanks, or into the group of people that are there. As soon as I get my ulti, I know we need an advantage on this point, so I cover my team, swap over to Cloak, pop my E, and just do what damage I can to put that aggression out. So the Loki's copied my ulti here. You can see that the Winter Soldier's on the back giving some grief, so I will use my Cloak aggressively and push into him. So you can see I reload 3 bullets here. That's because there's not really a lot going on. No one needs instant healing, so I just decide to get my full amount of ammo back. Trying to destroy the group wall. So there, instead of going for the heals, we swapped to damage to try kill the magic nice and quick. Fortunately, it works out for us. We know the Punisher's ulting, so we're trying to block his line of sight to us while still putting out healing where we can. And we can see that this is probably a lost fight. So we just go in and try and stop the fall. And they do manage to secure the objective there.
me out. They hit the checkpoint. Now might be a good time to stop them.
So we're walking forward. You can see, even though the payload's much further, I stop. I wait for some of the bigger guys to get in front of me, aka the Groot. I'm already trying to destroy the Groot wall here. And here's someone behind me. Yep, the Wolverine. So we're not just using our vision, we're using our audio too. We'll pop both our cooldowns into that Groot ult. And do we manage to save everyone here? I think we do. No, we lose the Groot because he just doesn't back up. Again, as soon as I get my ulti, it's gone out. Unfortunately, it has been used at the same time as the Loki, which I realised, so I use it as more of aggressive. And we managed to push them all back. You can see, even though I'm a healer and fighting against their whole team there, I'm able to stay in the cloak form and deal a lot of damage. I pull back, spot the Wolverine is near my Loki, and just do my best to try and keep him up. Trying to get away here, but the Groot does chase me down and just pops me in the back. But as soon as that Punisher ults and I can see him, you can see that I'm just trying to break line of sight. I'm trying to do what I can to stay alive. I probably could have cloak ability here to get away, but I'm just going to end up in front of their team. We've lost a few too many people, and we do just lose the point. So we're on the last point here. It's not looking too good. Push down pretty quickly. But again, we're spotting who's low, we're trying to focus our healing. Again, our tank is just a bit too far. It's gone in a little bit too hard, so we start backing it up. We get a new wall, or a new line. See the Wolverine's kidnapped him, so we immediately turn our attention to try and keep him alive. So, I swap targets here. I swap targets of my healing. I'm like, okay, you know, you can see the Loki's low, but I'm going to focus on the Star-Lord. The reason I'm focusing on the Star-Lord is because if we listen closely, we can hear that he's just ulting. If we can do what we can to keep him alive and make sure that he gets the most out of his ultimate, then I see it as me using my ulti with him. You know, I've enhanced him, we've allowed it. Again, we swap aggressively to this Wolverine because our whole team's here. We back it up. We're at advantage now. So my ulti's not too far away. Same for the Loki's. His is pretty close too. So I know I just need to stay alive a little bit here in order to get my ult. Just keeping the healing orb down around the point where my Thors like to play. And the Loki's gone in. Hear the magic come on my back. I think I switched forms, so I used the wrong E. And I just chased the magic away. So because I swapped over there, she got a little bit scared. She felt she needed to leave. And the team reacts to her and takes her out. So you can see, look where the healers are. We've got 3 healers on our team. And we're all here. We're all here together. We're far back. We're away from the fight. Because we know we've got the range to heal our 3 up here, our 2 DPS and our 1 tank. So we're in a good position to just kind of hold this, to not take any aggression. None of us need any heals because we're out of the way. And we're just keeping that fight going. Again, dropping another ball, just in an area where my team likes to be. Fortunately, the Thor just pops his ult a little bit too solo. We're not able to put out enough heals to keep him up. Same situation again. Star-Lord's ulted, so he's got my full attention. He goes behind a wall. I'm not able to heal him, and the magic takes him out. Get a nice pick on the magic. You can see that the Groot's low, so we're pushing up with the team. And I think this is where one of my teammates calls for me to use an ulti in the room on the left. Like, on reflection, as soon as I died, I said I shouldn't have ultied in here. Their lunar ult's going off. We're going to get out of there. And I just stay and pump a few too many on top when I should be leaving. The rest of my team is dying at the back here. So if we just go and we check out what the Wolverine is up to. And if I'm not in that room, putting my ult on their team. I could be at the back here, maybe saving some of my teammates, but my poor ult leads to 3 of the team dying. So that's just how impactful a healer ulti can be. I'm there, not really doing a lot, and just trying to juke to save my life. But unfortunately, I'm just not able to get away, and I end up trickling a bit too much in order to support the team.
Don't give them another inch, or else. My time to shine.
So I spotted, yep, Luna's popped out her ulti. So with Luna having her ult up, I know I can come in. I can try and put out a bit more damage. I could probably save the Star-Lord there, but instead of saving him, I scare the enemy by putting them on lower life. Man fighting the Wolverine a little bit, using my cloak, force him to run away, manage to pop his passive, and actually push up a little bit too far, chasing a bit of a ghost. Loki stole my ult again, so I know he's about to use it. And we just get some full aggression with the ultimate, push the enemy team away from the payload. So if we just watch that from the Loki's perspective very quickly.
0, 2, 2.
See the Loki putting out some heals, spots his Cloak and Dagger, gets his ult straight away, he's in there, he's getting ready to use it, drops it aggressively, effectively scaring the enemy team to walk back. And we're just in a really strong position here when there's only a few seconds left on the clock. The enemy are nowhere near the payload, we've completely pushed them back, and we managed to deal with them quite well.
Time to switch things up, including which side you're on.
So if you watch it from the other perspective now, where we watch it in attack. So again, looking at the lineup, we've got 3 healers, 1 tank, 2 DPS, versus 2 healers, 3 DPS, 1 tank. They've got a lot of dive, so it's quite useful that we've got the 3 healers. We're able to keep each other up if they do dive in on us. So we'll see the advantage that we have with this here. So I'm hoping that the Psylocke's going to aid me in fighting this magic here. I decided to put out a bit of aggression. Psylocke unfortunately does no damage to the magic, and we both just have to run away. And we've got 2 healers dead. And our tank just dies too. So things are going a little bit bad. We're just going to reset. Put out a bit of damage, keep Loki up so we don't lose anyone. So yeah, you can see there that we just ignored the Wolverine that was in front of us, so you knew it was a bit more important to keep Loki up. And in the end we actually managed to save Loki's life, and the Wolverine dies to the Loki. So by me healing Loki there, him surviving, the Wolverine died without me interacting with him. Drop a bubble at the corner. You see how very quickly there we spotted that our Loki was low. We had the little red flashing symbol. This is something you want to keep an eye out for. I know it looks very obvious, but if you catch out the corner of your eye, if somebody's low, if they're behind you, it's probably one of your healers. And if you stop to heal them, they can heal other people. So you can see none of us have died here. We're taking advantage of the big heals. We've lost both our DPS and our tank. Play in the corner. Wolverine stolen out. DPS and the 3 healers are just left to play Ring Around the Roses and hope that their teammates come back soon. Use this pillar for a bit of LOS. I can see that my tank's been kidnapped here, so I ulti to try and save him. Luna's countered my ulti, so instead of trying to do some damage, I'm going for the nest here. I'm a little bit scared of any mines, so I do unfortunately miss it, but I'm able to escape with my cloak. Drop down a healing bubble for myself. And just get some healing out to my allies. The magic's gone in on me. We fly up into the sky. Think about doing damage, but we swap over to heal because we can see that our Luna is now getting gone on. I think that's a little bit of a wasted ult from the Luna, a little bit of fear from her to make sure she doesn't die. Actually managed to kill their Luna with a stray bullet. Loki stole my ult here, which was really, really well timed. See, I'm going for the kill here instead of trying to kill Thor. But I just figure we have a Cloak and ulti down. Sorry, I just figure we have a Cloak and Dagger ulti down. So if that Thor wants to die, that's his choice. Or he can walk a couple of feet forward. I think the replay's bugged it out. He could walk a few feet forward and get into the Cloak and Dagger ultimate to heal himself. Which is actually what he does. We get the Wolverine, we put some pressure on the Bucky. And yeah, we're just, again, falling to their ultis, their aggressive ultis. I think if the Thor decides to ult there, we do have a good advantage. But a lot of the Thors like to try and keep their ultis for the most optimal play possible. So it's looking a little bit rough. Doesn't look like we're going to get this point here with how things are going. We're just pushing forward, pushing forward. Again, we're paying attention to the magic coming in. We're dropping some heals. And we drop an aggressive ult out. Team's able to push up because the enemy got split up by the Cloak and Dagger ulti, which is great. Thor was putting in the pressure that we needed. And now what went from looking like a really difficult point to push, we've managed to turn it around. So we got Thor, just a little bit too aggressive from the Thor there. He used his shift to go in, but we weren't able to save him. And we're using a bit of a tech there with Cloak and Dagger where you can bounce her healing off the wall. And if it goes near it, so if we watch that from the Psylocke's perspective, we can see that she's not completely low health. But we bounce her heal off the wall, manage to heal her, and then she feels safe enough to do some damage. We hear the Wolverine. Unfortunately, he gets away. Our team's just getting a little bit of magic gift at the back there. Again, we're not really paying attention to our team at the moment here, which is our mistake. But we're kind of keeping the Penny back by destroying her nest. And all we lost was our Loki, which isn't the end of the world when you've got 3 healers. Again, we get a little bit too thirsty for the kill there. But nobody dies, which is great. Our Loki has his ulti, I have my ulti. I think we're just waiting here for the Lunar ult to finish before we go in. There we go, Loki's gone in with his now. Hela just gone a bit too far forward. And we're just staying near the point, making sure it's pushing. Getting as much as we can from the time that we've got. Knowing that we're going to ult around this corner probably to put the aggression down, to scare the enemy team back. Loki was very quick on his runes, which is great. This is where we see the enemy team. Our Thor is low, so we drop the ulti. Go for the aggressive play. Look how we've pushed them all away from the point. This is one Cloak and Dagger ult. So let's have a little look. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people have all just ran away from the Cloak and Dagger ulti. Look at that positioning that we've just created. We're in there, we're distracting, we're fighting them off the point, and now we've got the advantage of this room. We've got the the wall to use as cover. And the payload's just going to make it in nice and easy, as they're not able to get in. So let's just watch that bit again. So we're about here. Keep an eye on the Cloak's health. We see him getting low. We see that little flash of red for a moment. We throw this out, and if we look, we've currently got 3 people. The magic's holding them back, and then the penny, because I'm ulting here on the Cloak and Dagger, is actually going to come and try and fight me, as well as the Wolverine. So we managed to grab their whole team as one support. Putting out the aggression, getting the Luna low, and we just fall back. Our ulti's done. We've made our room. Put out some heals. And just keeping our team nice and healthy. Unfortunately, we're a little bit too slow, but the Star-Lord does get a bit bursted. Thor uses a nice ulti here to give us the aggression. Steps around the corner, so I can't see him, but you can see the tech that we're using. So if we just rewind that a little bit, we've kept ourselves in a great position. And if we watch from up here, we can see that our heals are going to come in, bounce off this wall, and go onto our Thor. So let's slow it down. So 2 miss, 2 hit him. That gives him enough confidence to carry on going forward. And he's going to get this penny kill here. She just gives up knowing she's dead. So I know my Loki, my Luna have their ulti here. So we're in a really strong position. So I'm doing my best to try and get my ulti as quick as I can. Star-Lord's gone up in the sky, which normally means they want to ulti. But he doesn't have his yet. Darkchild's coming in, so Loki ults, and I run as quick as I can onto the Loki ult. Put some aggression onto the Darkchild. Lose track of her, but, you know, none of us die. We'll all survive. Now use the Lunar ulti. Again, not giving the Darkchild any room at the back. And we're just putting so much aggression down. They aren't able to do anything here. We just take them out one by one. Keeping everybody alive. So Jax, I'd say the main differences you can see is we're thinking about who we're healing. We're paying attention to where our teammates are. We're trying to position so we're out of sight. We're out of the mind of the enemy team. We're doing our best to keep that distance. And we're using our ulti more. And using our abilities more. So I'd say the main takeaways for yourself, use your abilities more. Don't be afraid of using your ultimate. And think about who you're healing. You know, we've walked out on our team with 25k healing. A healing number isn't always an indication that you've done a great job, because sometimes you can just be focusing on the tanks a little bit too much. But we've done really well here to get this victory. I hope that is a nice explanation of Cloak and Dagger for you, Jack. So if you have any more replays you'd like me to check out, or any of the heroes you'd like me to look into, just let me know. That'd be great. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a lovely day and take care.